The second group is the community engagement working group, which will do exactly what we're talking about, is engaging and empowering people in this process. The purpose is to plan and carrying out outreach and engagement strategy for PB. Key tasks are develop outreach plans and mobilize broad, inclusive, and representative participation. Want to organize outreach event, recruit more volunteers, distribute educational and promotional materials about the PB process, and identify and engage non-traditional community partners in the PB process. By non-traditional community partners, we're talking about the people who are not here around the table right now, right? And then we're going to have ad hoc committees as needed. So whether it's like implementing or monitoring, we'll decide that as it comes along. So just to see if we can do this a little bit easier, who here would want to join the events working group?
First one.
See, that was my
There's
question.
two categories.
And you could also,
Can you be in both?
you
And
can
thank
be
you,
involved.
that was my question.
Your-
If you can
The
do both.
answer is yes, but just know that is more work and responsibility, and if you want to do that, more than welcome, and I'm very grateful for it. Just
Hang
be
yourself outside.
mindful of your time, and that'll be all. Dave?
How often do you expect these two working groups to meet?
So so mostly they'll be working within the time span of our district committee meetings.
Okay.
So as our district committee meetings go forward, it's going to be less presentation and more, we'll break out, we'll work out, we already know what we have to do. I'm not going to be the only one facilitating, some of you are going to be responsible for leading and facilitating those groups, and that's how it works. It sort of evolves into its own thing. So can I get a show of hands of who would want to be in the events working group? So Dave, did you say your name then? Athena.
Yes.
All right. Dave, Athena, Fran, Grace. All right. So cool. Who would want to be in the community engagement working group? This is
And then
good.
the other hand wants to go.
That's how I like it. All right. You guys will be in the community engagement working group because you'll be outreaching to CB5, CB4, and really work with some ministry. That's kind of me uniting and telling you what you have to do.
Excuse me, Juan?
Yeah.
So if you're going to do a breakout, how can you be in both working groups? If you're going to do a breakout,
Well, because
meeting
because
simultaneously.
one of the things for the community engagement working group, if you're in both, the community engagement working group would be doing a lot of the like on the ground outreaching or reaching out to either senior centers, PTA programs, after school programs, direct outreach, whatever the group decides. So that can be one of the ways that the people who are in the event working group can also work in the other one. And there seems to be only 2 or 3 people that want to be in both, right?
Yeah.
So that I think it will work out. The other thing is, and as we go forward, we're going to keep on thinking. We're going to think creatively, using the district map, using the profile that says 36% of households are ran by single mothers who earn less than $15,000. We're going to be thinking about that for our outreach. So, Ron, you have recorded all the people who are going to be.
Yeah, I have the events. I just wanted to see, did everybody else say that they would do community engagement? Basically, if you didn't sign up for events, you went to community
That's what it
engagement.
seems like.
Is there anybody here that hasn't picked a committee?
How many people are in the events already?
4.
4.
Would you like to join
Put
the
me in the
event?
events.
That would be great, thank you. And this is not to say so part of the community engagement working group would be to recruit volunteers. So if we have a outreach event that we're trying to do, and you need volunteers, feel free to reach out to the people in the event working group as well. And we're going to have different working groups throughout the process, depending on where we're at. But right now, those are the 2 key ones that will get us to where we need to get. review the district, I want to review the district profile and the neighborhoods, so that folks here can think of how many neighborhood assemblies we actually need to do and where we need to do. We chose to organize it and sort of break ourselves up by community districts, because that's kind of how our neighborhoods are also broken up too.
And it's already set up
And it's
that
set up
way.
that way, the data's that
Yeah.
way, it makes it a lot,
Why bring
it'll
that
make
to
our, it'll make our lives easier.
Okay.
All right, and, actually, you have 3 members of CV6, Bill is also in CV6, right?
Huh?
You're community board 6.
I'm not on a committee.
No,
You
I
live,
am not on
You
a
live.
community board.
You live in.
But you live in
Ward
Community
six.
Board
this is our,
Yes, you do.
you
you're
know,
from that
that's,
neighborhood.
I'm on East Tremont Avenue between Washington Avenue and Park Avenue.
That's
You're
community
from
board
community
6.
board 6.
Community Board 6. Thank you, I learned something today.
And the idea is to make sure that we have representation from our geographic area. I will do that right now. Yep.
Just right quick, every community board, most of you have attended, has a public session at the beginning. And that's when we would be able to engage the public, members of the community to join. It's a very good vehicle to use at that time. Okay, so ours is tomorrow, and we will, other board member and I will speak tomorrow during the public session. And we will also encourage some more board members also. But if you can attend a community board meeting and sign up to speak in the public session, this is a good way to push it and find your members rather than.
Yes. And I will be there tomorrow, Bill, to get people, anybody that wants to sign up,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be there to wrangle them in.
And then one thing I want to just caution for is like, this group, we want to keep it around 15 to 20 or so people. We don't, the
This is
district,
the district
our
committee.
planning committee, we want to keep it around 15, 20 people. If we get to like, if we have 50 people, it's going to be very difficult to make some of those planning decisions. So,
There's 15 people at this table right now.
yeah, but we do want to add
16 if
some,
we count this young man.
we do want to add some members.
When is the community board 12 meeting?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm going to just outline what are some regions here and just go over our map. Each of you have this smaller version. The city council has been gracious enough. They're gonna print out this map for us, and we're gonna have like about 6 or 7 of them that we can use for like more in-depth planning purposes when we break out. We have neighborhood assemblies.
I told you.
So CB7 in this district goes from the northern boundary of like Bedford Park / 199th Street. Our western boundary is the Grand Concourse, and CB7 stops at Fordham Road. So everything north of Fordham Road from Grand Concourse to Webster would be Community Board 7 that overlaps with our district. Now, Community Board 7 is a lot larger than that and goes sort of like that.
So that's Woodlawn?
No, we do not have Woodlawn. We have CB7, the neighborhood we have in CB7 is Bedford Park, Fordham Bedford Park.
Okay.
So if you want to think about it neighborhood-wise, you can do it that way. I think about it through numbers because I'm a numbers guy. But we'll use both the community district number and the neighborhood number. So Bedford Park / Fordham Bedford is this region here. The other region we have is the neighborhood of Fordham, which is all in Community Board 5 for us. And that's everything west of Webster, you want to say, right? Yes.
From the west side of Webster Avenue.
From the west side of Webster Avenue, from Fordham, downwards to, wow, the zigzags around the cross Bronx or something.
I think it's across Bronx.
Right? And in the neighborhoods of Fordham, we have a couple of, we have Twin Parks West, which is a major housing development. It's over, I think it's laid out in the,
Yeah, the Clinton.
Where?
So, the other neighborhood that we have is Belmont and Fordham University, which is its own neighborhood too. Very big portion of our district. Belmont, for our purposes, goes from Fordham to about 180th Street, from Webster to Southern Boulevard.
What community board is that?
That would be Community Board 6. So as you see, I'm going to outline it right here how big Community Board 6 is and why we should have more people. You see the line here?
It actually it includes the university.
It also, I'm sorry, it also includes the university. Don't mean to leave off order.
I did, but that makes it even.
It makes it even longer. The other neighborhood where we have very little participation, so then we have East Tremont, which is also in Community Board 6. This Tremont portion would go like that, right? And we have Mount Hope, which is the region where the Bowmans and Jump Ministries is at, and that borders CB5 and CB4. Over here in this region, and those who have ever attended the CB5 may know that there's not many people, even in the Community Board 5 meetings, there's not many people who live in this area, and who live west of the Grand Concourse, east of the Grand Concourse, who are in Community Board 5. So we have a big task ahead of us to try to engage people civically in this Community Board 5 region, 5 and 4 region that I'm highlighting right here. Actually, here we go. So from here, all of that.
Are you saying it's sparsely populated, or you're saying
It's
the people
highly
that live in that
populated.
area do not get
It
it?
is
Right.
densely populated, but we have very little civic engagement there. Which is why part of the outreach committee and part of our neighborhood assemblies, we should pay specific attention there. I know we have Webster PAL here, so that takes care of only one portion. But coming down here, what are we gonna do with that Mount Hope,
Mount Eden, that's my
Mount
section.
Eden area? So we have small parts of Mount Eden and Claremont. This is our CB4 area, right here. Right? And we also have West Farms, even though West Farms looks like a small piece of our district, it's this. High density, high population.
Yeah.
We have, and,
Murphy houses.
no, we have, 1010 East 178th Street is there, and then we have Lambert House.
Yep.
Lambert Houses is a very large complex, there's a lot of safety concerns there, there's a lot of, there's a food desert there. This is one of those areas that we're gonna wanna try to engage as much as possible. The other neighborhood we have Van Ness. There's a lot of homes here, a lot of multifamily homes and single-family homes. This is in Community Board 11.
Yeah, and this is 11. I'm sorry. West Farms, which community board?
6, I'm
Okay,
sorry for
thank
not
you. I just
not
didn't want to
documenting that.
miss.
Yep, of course,
6 and 3.
6 and 3, it's.
yeah. 6 and part of this 3, and technically we have, this right here is CB9, was it that we found?
Yeah, the one block.
This one block right here is CB9, so we found out we actually represent 8 community boards. More than any other.
largest?
There's 12 community boards in the Bronx, by the way.
Yeah.
And our council district overlaps with 7, technically 8 of them. So we have our work cut out.
I'm sorry.
Keys region over here, which is all Community Board 11 as well. We start,
Show Bronx Park East area again, please.
this is Bronx Park East. Technically, all of this is Bronx Park East, right?
No,
So
not all.
we don't connect anywhere with another council person's district who also has participatory budgeting, right?
We do here.
Oh.
Here. So if there was a project here that we wanted to in the Fordham Bedford Norwood region, if there was a project that came in, so we're gonna share stuff with Councilman Cohen's district. We're gonna be touching base with them and finding out if there's any ideas that affect this area. And if so, we'll have like a liaison from their district committee come and meet with us and and we'll try to include that as part of our ballot, or maybe we'll go half and half. It all depends. Transportation-wise, we have the 2 and the 5 train that run through the eastern side of the district. We have the Metro North. We have about 3 or 4 stops, I want to say. We have a Botanical Garden stop. We have the Fordham Universities, the Fordham stop, and we have a Tremont stop, and then I think there's another one down there that I can't remember.
We're not targeting that Metro North, are we?
No, we're not. I'm just displaying it as a, unfortunately, people from our district do not use the Metro North as much as they do in other areas. I began using it more because it gets me down to City Hall a lot quicker.
More people use it outbound.
Yeah,
To Westchester,
Yep.
for jobs. And the Fordham station is actually
Very
very
good.
crowded.
Yeah.
We do have people in the district who do use it to go work outside,
That's
Yeah,
what it's called.
that's what I'm talking
Yep.
about, yeah, up to the moon.
Quick
Back-
question.
And then on the western portion, we have the B and the D trains, all along the Grand Concourse. And very close by, we have the 4 train, the 4 line.
My question is, participatory budgeting is a good idea. However, I'm concerned with once a project or projects are decided upon, who is going to do the work? How is that going to be? Is that going to be a bidding process? Is there a way to get community, people that live in the community involved in the refurbishing or whatever the projects are, hands-on experience? There might be people that are carpenters. There might be people that do construction that may not be working right now. So that would be more inclusive.
So I completely agree with you, and I think in terms of, that would be one